all kidding aside, there's a lot of rumors and speculation out there about Harbaugh indeed going to or back to the NFL. I listened to Adam Schefter today, who is, by the way, ironically, a Michigan guy. We're talking about the hire that that Harbaugh made in reference to the agent that he has, and that you do not make that move unless you're trying to come back to the NFL. Let's take this. Let's talk a little bit more about college on this one, but obviously Harbaugh. But even throwing in there, what you think Michigan would do if Harbaugh were to leave?
It has to be promoting Sherrone Moore. And I think that this also plays into why I think that it's clear that Jim Harbaugh's leaving, is that Sherrone Moore probably would have interviewed for some openings. He probably would have interviewed for some of the opportunities that were open this year. Like, he could have taken up some of these lower P5 jobs. Like, he could have ended up at Syracuse. Like, that's like a really good example of a school that he could have totally have ended up at. But his name didn't come up once. His name didn't come up a single time as a rumored candidate for any school. There's a reason for that. He is one of the most highly sought after assistants that has done tremendous things in his progression from an offensive line coach to an offensive coordinator to being the interim head coach for a period of time. They're going to promote the guy. That has to be what they're doing. They're late in the game of trying to go find another head coach. Yes, they could go open the treasure chest and try to go hire somebody and spend a shitload of money. But promoting the guy who's already built the culture and been a part of the culture, he's the guy. And I think he's going to be a great head coach. I think it'd be the best possible move than to spend a bunch of money on some random coach that might not work out.
I don't disagree with what you just said. I do think that they should. I do think that they will promote more if Harbaugh were to leave. Okay. Where Harbaugh goes, I don't know. It does feel like, Joe, though, he's going. Like, maybe I'm wrong on this, or maybe the feel that I have on this is off. I just feel like he's gone, dude. Like, yeah. I don't see a path or scenario where he doesn't go now. Now, I will say this. Should they do that? Should they promote more? And let me just tell you why I'm asking that question. You know who else did the same exact thing when their head coach left? Ultimately did go to the NFL, was Ohio State. Promoted Ryan Day from within because during that season, he had been an acting head coach because of the suspension that Urban Meyer had. That ultimately got Ryan Day the head coaching job because they had saw it. It was the emotional feel. Maybe Ryan Day should have been a head coach. I'm not saying he shouldn't have been. How's that working out for them right now?
I mean, it's worked out pretty good. Like, let's be honest. I know that I know
expectations. It has not. You know that.
Yes, I know that I've come on here and said that he could be on the hot seat if they lose to Michigan again this year. But in a vacuum, and just like remove the expectations.
I agree with what you're saying.
They've been really good.
I agree with what you're saying now, Joe. Like, don't.
Yeah.
But to their expectations, right? Like, there's a reason why Ryan Day is feeling a lot of heat. There's a reason why Ryan Day is making an offensive coordinator change. Like, there's a reason, and we haven't even brought that up. Like, they are making a change, which I guess we kind of should after this. They're making a change along the OC. Now, does he go back to calling plays? I don't know what he wants to do or will do. Maybe he should. But all I'm going to say is that can they go and get somebody more experienced that could lead that I'm just going to throw out a name because his name's in there. All right. And nobody will attack me for this. Maybe LSU fans will, but I can take it. You mean to tell me that if the rumors were true and you don't hire Brian Kelly over Sherrone Moore, because you know exactly where Brian Kelly can get you in the Midwest. You know it and you've seen it.
What you've actually said this on the show before, and I agree with it. Michigan is one of those programs that wants a Michigan man. They want a Michigan man, and Brian Kelly's not a Michigan man. He left
more players,
but he's been a part of this football program for a very long time. And we visually have him being so passionate about being a part of that
Dude was
program
crying,
that he was
man.
crying. He was crying.
He said the curse words. Everybody got on to him about it.
I think he is the way better fit than going and spending. Because here's the problem with when you make that transition to go spend a shit ton of money on trying to get a guy to leave, there are ridiculously high expectations now for that new head coach. And then the fallout of when you spending the money to pay his buyout, and then the fallout of if you have to then pay him a buyout is unbearably terrible. If Sherrone Moore doesn't work, you can just say, well, we wanted to keep things rolling and it didn't work out. I think the fans could be disappointed, but they can't be necessarily upset. It also keeps the locker room together. It keeps the recruiting classes together. I would much rather that than trying to go after anybody. I think that there aren't very many good options, and the only one that you could go after is Brian Kelly, and I don't think that Brian Kelly leaves. I don't think it's realistic.
You don't think they could go after DeBoer at Washington? Literally hire the coach that you're playing in the national championship with? Like, let me ask you this question. If his services were open, would you tell him no?
I still don't think that Kalen DeBoer
That's not my question.
leaves. Okay.
That's not my question. My question is if he did want to go, because he's not a West Coast dude. He is not. I think, correct me if I'm wrong.
He's South Dakota.
Okay, well, maybe he is. Well, that's
Midwest.
Well,
obviously, if Kalen DeBoer said, "Hey, I'll come to Michigan," yes, but like
that. Well, hold on. That's not necessarily my question. But you don't have those conversations with those kinds of people if you're just going to go ahead and promote from within. You have no idea who would come there. So
I think most major coaches would go to Michigan. Michigan has a history of being a great football program.
I agree with that. But you could. Why? Here's a college football take for your ass. You ready? You could looking like Dabo with that black eye at the Clemson game. You saw Dabo with the black eye?
Yes, I did.
Okay. You could be like that team with looking just like Dabo with a black eye on the sideline if you are not careful. Don't get – I am just bringing the question into this. I am not saying I wouldn't – promote Sherrone Moore at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just at least for me, I am the kind of person, at least I think I'm the kind of person, search all avenues. Like, search all avenues, because hypothetically, if DeBoer would come to Michigan, if you don't have that conversation, you're a dumbass. You're 1,000% a dumbass if you do not want to have that conversation.
I think that the inverse here is important. How stupid would you look having a guy in Sherrone Moore who's already there, who's easily promotable, that the locker room loves, that the incoming recruits love, that is passionate about being a part of the football program, letting him inevitably leave and go take a head coaching job next cycle and go somewhere else and go on to be wildly successful? Like, how dumb could you? I would argue that is worse than doing the easy option and just spending a shitload of money on.
I'm not saying to do it. I'm just telling them to have a conversation. Don't make it that easy.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
Let's get to Harbaugh for a quick second here. What do you think? I mean, what's your thoughts on him leaving? You think he's gone?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many signals. What I talked about here with Sherrone Moore, the thing with you talked about with the agent, and then like him talking about the revenue sharing for players. The NCAA already hates his guts. For him to go out of his way to suggest what he did and saying that the broadcasting deals, that there's money that should be coming out of the administrators' paychecks and the coaches' paychecks to go into the hands of the players. Him making those statements is an indicator that he doesn't care of the repercussions. I think he's going to the NFL. I think it's a done deal.
Where do you think he goes?
Chargers or the Bears? I don't see anyone else.
Bears would be interesting. I mean, they're a tough-nosed city. You get a tough-nosed head coach that wants to do, and maybe that could revitalize the Bears' career. But isn't Eberflus the head coach there?
Oh, yeah. I guess that they it does sound like they're keeping him.
Yeah, I don't know if he goes to Chicago. I mean, L.A., Vegas makes some sense. I don't like the fit with him in Vegas at all.
Plus, I think they're going to promote Antonio Pierce.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean,
he might move up for Jaden Daniels if he's the head coach. He loves him some Jaden Daniels. We'll see. Look, I hate when good head coaches leave college and go to the NFL. I always want the game that I love the most to stay afloat. Obviously, that being college football. Would hate to see him leave, man. But I will tell you this: nobody is going to celebrate him leaving more than Ohio State fans.
Oh yeah,
they're going to be screaming from the rafters that he's gone. All right.
BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.